In this video, you'll see how to enable data residency controls using AWS Control Tower Guardrails. With this feature, you can better control data residency, reduce project delays, and match guardrails to your specific business needs. To get started, let's navigate to AWS Control Tower. Guardrails are prepackaged rules that automate security and operational controls across a multi-account environment. We'll search for guardrails pertaining to data residency. Data residency is a requirement to store and process data in a particular geographical location. These guardrails make it possible to quickly and easily ensure that customer data is not stored or processed outside of their specific region or regions. To see an example, let's enable a guardrail that denies access to AWS based on the requested AWS region. This guardrail is not yet enabled on any organization units, or OUs. Let's briefly review its components. To enable this particular guardrail, we need to modify our landing zone settings. We'll enable the Region Deny feature so that access is prohibited across non-governed regions. The 5 regions listed here are governed by Control Tower and will not be denied access to AWS services and operations. The update to our landing zone is complete. Let's review our landing zone settings to confirm that this guardrail is now enabled. As you can see, we have 5 governed regions. For all the other non-governed regions, this guardrail now denies access. Next, let's log into a non-governed region to verify that access is being denied. To test this experience, we'll navigate to our Virtual Private Cloud, or VPC, console and try to launch a new VPC. Since we're in a non-governed region, we receive a message saying we're unauthorized to perform this action. Next, we'll navigate to one of our governed regions. Since this region is governed, we're able to see and use the various resources, and, if desired, create VPCs. Let's return to our Control Tower landing zone settings. Let's navigate to AWS Organizations to look at the OU that had the guardrail applied. Let's find the guardrail policy we applied. Here we can view the templatized parameters that restrict AWS region access. Here are the 5 regions that were excluded from this deny guardrail. As we scroll, we see all the global AWS resources that are excluded from the denied list. Next, let's try out 2 more data residency guardrails. We're going to apply a detection guardrail and a preventive guardrail on a different OU. Again, we'll filter on data residency guardrails. We can sort the guardrails by behavior. Next, we'll select the detection guardrail we want to enable. This guardrail detects whether Amazon S3 settings block public access. We'll enable this guardrail on the data resident OU. Let's navigate to the OU to confirm that the S3 access guardrail has been enabled. Here we can see the first guardrail we applied and the one we just enabled. Next, we'll apply the preventive guardrail. This guardrail will disable internet access for new Amazon VPCs. Please note that this guardrail will not apply to current or existing VPCs. Let's enable it. Again, we'll select our data resident OU, enable the guardrail, and verify its enablement. The guardrail is enabled. Let's scroll back up and investigate a non-compliant resource. Here we can see a reported account that has S3 public access on and enabled. To make this resource compliant per the policy of the detection guardrail, we'll navigate to S3 and disable public access. Now our S3 settings are compliant with the newly applied detection guardrail. Let's confirm this in Control Tower. As you can see, the guardrail is no longer detecting a non-compliant resource. Next, let's return to the VPC console to test the preventive guardrail we applied earlier. Let's try to create a VPC that has internet access. The VPC creation process will eventually be interrupted by an error message, accompanied by a rollback of the resources used for the operation. Here's the full error message telling us we're not authorized to perform this operation. If we wanted to, we could still create VPCs without internet or public access, as our preventive guardrail only controls for those conditions. You've just seen how to enable data residency controls using AWS Control Tower Guardrails. You can learn more about this topic in the description and links for this video. Thanks for watching. Now it's your turn to try.